6 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The National Security Committee meeting is underway in Islamabad with the Prime Minister in the chair reviewing the situation arising out of the Indian aggression in occupied Kashmir. Speaking at the joint session of the Parliament, members of all the political parties unequivocally condemned the Indian government's move to revoke Section 370 of the Constitution, giving special status to Jammu and Kashmir. China has opposed unilateral change in the status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir by India. Pakistan and the Asian Development Bank have signed a loan agreement for trade and competitiveness program amounting to $500 million. In Afghanistan, 18 people were killed in a car bomb explosion in Kabul today. The National Junior Badminton Championship concluded in Abbottabad today. And now the news in detail. The National Security Committee meeting is underway in Islamabad with the Prime Minister Imran Khan in the chair. The meeting has been convened in the wake of the current situation in occupied Kashmir. The meeting is reviewing the situation arising out of the Indian aggression in occupied Kashmir. The Minister for Human Rights, Dr. Shireen Mazari, says the Indian attempts to change the status of occupied Kashmir are not only illegal, but they also defy the Geneva Convention, which attributes any change in the demographic composition of the held territory as a war crime. Speaking at the joint session of the Parliament in the National Assembly in Islamabad today, she said with the revocation of Articles 370 and 35A, India has violated the Shimla Accord, decisions of its superior courts and all international norms. She said our government has also demanded the United Nations to set up an independent investigative committee to find out the human rights abuses being committed in the Indian-held Kashmir. She said we have to inform the world community that Pakistan will not remain silent if any misadventure is done against us. The co-chairman, Pakistan People's Party, Asif Ali Zardari, taking the floor, said step taken by India to strip Kashmir of its special status has buried the secular status of the country. He said separatist movements all across India will gain momentum with this step. Asif Ali Zardari urged the need to accelerate the diplomatic efforts after the illegal annexation of Kashmir by India. He said his party was founded on the sacrifices of Kashmiris. The Amir Jamaat-e-Islami Sirajul Haq said India cannot suppress the right to self-determination of the Kashmiris by use of brute force. He said India planned well ahead to carry out its plan of changing the demographic composition of Kashmir to annex the land. He warned that if a strong response is not given to India now, it can claim Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan in the next phase. JUIF Parliamentary Leader Maulana Asad Mahmood said Pakistan stands with its Kashmiri brethren steadfastly. He said a strong message should be sent from Pakistan Parliament that all the political parties are on the same page to condemn the Indian step. He questioned that if the United States with all its military might could not succeed in occupying Afghanistan, how could India do the same in Kashmir? An important consultative meeting chaired by the Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi was held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Islamabad today. The meeting reviewed the prevailing critical environment in occupied Kashmir and the situation emerging after the Indian government's unconstitutional step regarding Kashmir. Senior officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including the Foreign Secretary Sohail Mahmood and the Foreign Office spokesperson Dr. Mohammad Faisal, attended the meeting. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Information and Broadcasting, Dr. Firdaus Ashikawan, says India cannot hold Kashmiris hostage for a long time. Addressing a news conference along with Kashmiri leaders in Islamabad today, she said India's nefarious acts in Kashmir show that it has lost its case in Kashmir. The Special Assistant said Kashmiris will not accept any decision of India. Prime Minister Azad Jammu and Kashmir Raja Farooq Haider Khan has welcomed the Corps Commanders' conference declaration and said it gives a new strength to the struggling people of occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Talking to journalists in Muzaffarabad today, he said the joint session and discussion on the latest situation in occupied Kashmir has built our morale. This is Radio Pakistan. China has opposed unilateral change in the status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir by India. Talking to Radio Pakistan in Islamabad today, the Chinese ambassador Yao Sheng said Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory, and in this regard, there are United Nations Security Council resolutions and bilateral agreements between Pakistan and India. The ambassador said the international regime and international norms about the issue should be respected. In occupied Kashmir, the communication blackout continues on the third consecutive day today as the authorities continue to snap internet and telephone links and impose strict restrictions on the media. The Indian government had snapped television, telephone, and internet links to prevent demonstrations against its decision of revoking Article 370 of the Indian Constitution that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. Almost all the resistance leaders, including Sayyid Ali Gilani and Mirwais Umar Farooq, have been put under house arrest or in jails. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on National Health Services, Dr. Zafar Mirza, and the Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Overseas Pakistanis, Syed Zulfikar Bukhari, called on the Prime Minister Imran Khan in Islamabad today. Dr. Zafar Mirza praised the Prime Minister on the steps being taken to improve the health services in the country, particularly progress in the provision of Sehat Insaf cards. Syed Zulfikar Bukhari briefed the Prime Minister on the measures being taken to facilitate overseas Pakistanis. Pakistan and the Asian Development Bank have signed loan agreement for trade and competitiveness program amounting to $500 million. The Minister for Economic Affairs, Mohammad Hamad Azhar, and the Asian Development Bank Country Director, Chiao Hong Jiang, witnessed the signing ceremony in Islamabad today. The United Nations has stepped up its emergency appeal for Zimbabwe, warning that more than 5 million people are in need of aid in that country. The head of the World Food Programme, David Beasley, said World Food Programme has launched a $331 million appeal as the country battles the effects of a drought, a cyclone, and an economic crisis. In Afghanistan, 18 people were killed and over 100 others, including women and children, wounded in a car bomb explosion at the police station in Kabul today. The Taliban have claimed responsibility for the attack. And now news about sports. The National Junior Badminton Championships concluded in Abbottabad today. Qari Adnan of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has become the new under-18 champion by beating defending champion Zulkarnain Haider, while Amal Munib of Punjab has claimed the title of under-18 champion in the girls' final. And finally, the weather. Rain and wind thunderstorm with isolated heavy falls is expected at scattered places in Multan, Bahawalpur, Dera Ghazi Khan, Faistabad, Sahiwal, Gujranwala, Lahore, Sargodha, Yob, Kalat divisions in Kashmir, while at isolated places in Malakand, Hazara, Peshawar, Mardan, Bannu, Kohar, Dera Ismail Khan, Rawalpindi divisions, and Islamabad. Hot and humid weather is expected elsewhere in the country during the next 12 hours. To end the news, here once again are some of the headlines. The National Security Committee meeting is underway in Islamabad with the Prime Minister and the Chair reviewing the situation arising out of the Indian aggression in occupied Kashmir. Speaking at the joint session of the Parliament, members of all the political parties unequivocally condemned the Indian government's move to revoke Section 370 of the Constitution, giving special status to Jammu and Kashmir. China has opposed unilateral change in the status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir by India. Pakistan and the Asian Development Bank have signed loan agreement for trade and competitive program amounting to $500 million. In Afghanistan, 18 people were killed in a car bomb explosion in Kabul today. Those were some of the headlines, and that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link, facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.